Hey guys, welcome back to another Lifestyle Sunday. Today I have a very special video. Valentine's Day is coming up and I wanted to share with you guys a recipe that I talked about in one of my Q&A videos. I had so many requests after I talked about it to make a video on it, and it was the very first meal that I cooked for my husband. So not only am I going to recreate that dish, but I thought it'd be a lot of fun to recreate our first Valentine's Day that we had in this house. So I remember like it was yesterday, we had no furniture yet and his mom gifted us a patio set. So I brought that patio set inside. I had my mom helped me, my sister helped me drag the table and chairs inside because they were really heavy. They were like metal chairs. And then I made the chicken cordon bleu, which is his favorite dish and also the first meal that I ever cooked for him. And I don't even remember what dessert I made that day, but I am going to be sharing with you guys a dessert that I'm making this Valentine's Day. Today I thought it'd be a lot of fun since we actually have furniture now to do it in our living room. I feel like it's a little more cozier. If you have a fireplace, you could light a fireplace. You could put a little bit of music and just make it really cozy in your living room. If you don't have a carpet in your living room, you could put down a really soft blanket, and it's kind of like camping combined with like a romantic dinner at home. And then after you're done with dinner, you can remove everything and still have your dessert there and maybe some bubbly, whatever you're feeling, and then have some games. I would totally recommend having some games over like TV just so you guys can interact. Like my husband and I love playing Scrabble, we love playing chess, so we actually have a little chess set that we keep on our coffee table. But you guys can totally do whatever it is that you guys like doing together as a couple, or you could totally take this video and turn it into a girls' night, have your girlfriends over and make some mini chicken cordon bleus. You can actually cut the chicken in half and make them into mini sizes, and the desserts are totally appropriate for a girls' night. They're so delicious. So I'm going to take you guys through what the evening would look like from start to finish, and I really hope you guys enjoy the video. So the first thing I do is start to kind of set everything up by cleaning first, and then have like the layout of where we're going to have the dinner ready, because the last thing I want to do is scramble last second after the dinner is hot. I just want to be able to plate and be able to enjoy our evening. So once that area is nice and tidy, I go ahead and start on my dessert. The first thing I'm doing is melting some chocolate. So first I'm taking a pot of water and I'm bringing that up to a simmer, and then I'm putting a bowl on top of it. That way I can melt the chocolate in the bowl and it's not directly on the heat. Otherwise, the chocolate will tend to burn if you get it too hot. You can use any chocolate that you want. So I'm using milk chocolate because my husband loves milk chocolate. But if you like dark chocolate, or if you have a specific brand that you love, just use that and just slowly melt it. So once it's melted, I transfer it into a smaller bowl and I kind of just stir it until it's nice and cool. So then you take your water balloon, make sure it's clean, and just slowly dip it into the warm chocolate. Just be very gentle because these balloons are very fragile. And then slowly remove it and make sure you have wax paper to set it on, otherwise it may stick. Do as many of those little chocolate cups as you want. I did a total of 3 of them. And then you want to put them in the freezer and leave them in there for at least 20 minutes until they get nice and frozen, although it should probably only take about 10 minutes. So while your chocolate is freezing, you can start making your homemade whipped cream. All you're gonna need is some cream, powdered sugar, and also a little bit of vanilla. 3 super simple ingredients and you are set to go. You could put this in the blender, but I personally like to do it by hand. All you need is a whisk, and you're going to be whisking it for about 1 minute to 2 minutes, depending on how much you're making, but just constantly whip it. It does seem a little bit tedious, but the end result is so worth it, you guys. Like, you're never going to want to go back to store-bought. And the blender, I feel like you don't have as much control and you could over whip it. You want to make sure you get this creamy, fluffy consistency. If you whip it for too long, it's going to turn into this hard butter-like substance, and you don't want that. So once your whipped cream is made, you can start assembling your little chocolate cups, and they're so cute. And you're gonna pop the balloons. You just remove the latex that's left over from the balloon, and you have these super cute, delicious chocolate cups, and you're gonna fill them with your whipped cream and then fill them with strawberries. And then you're gonna put those in the fridge and let them set while you make the rest of your dinner. So we're gonna start on the chicken cordon bleu. And the first thing you wanna do is get some saran wrap and a boneless chicken breast. So then you're gonna get something that's round. I ended up using a wine bottle, as you can see. But you want to start by gently tapping it and then doing rolling motions. You want to be a little firm but gentle at the same time, because the chicken, the thinner it gets, the more fragile it becomes. So it is going to be easy to tear the chicken if you're not too gentle. But you want to make sure it's nice and flat like this. And then you season both sides with salt and pepper. And then you're going to get some Swiss cheese and ham of your choice. And then you're going to roll the cheese inside of the ham. And you're going to make sure to tuck the edges and then continue rolling. The reason you want to tuck the edges is to prevent the cheese from melting out once you roll it into the chicken, because the chicken is going to have some openings on the sides. So then you're going to start to roll the chicken over the ham and cheese. And as you can see, it's very, very simple. There's no reason to be intimidated by this dish. You just take it step by step and you can totally do it. And then secure the edges with toothpicks. After that, we're going to start assembling our batter. So you're gonna need some flour, and then you're gonna season that flour with salt, pepper, and a little bit of paprika, and then you're gonna get a separate dish and you're gonna fill it with breadcrumbs. You can use Italian breadcrumbs, you can use panko. I personally think panko is delicious and it comes out nice and crispy, but I didn't have any, so I used Italian breadcrumbs. And then in a bowl, you want to take 1 egg and add salt, pepper, and paprika, and then just give it a good whisk. So we're going to start by dipping the chicken in the flour mixture. You want to make sure to fully coat it and just kind of shake off any excess. And then you're going to dip that into the egg wash, and you're just going to give it a good dunk. Make sure all sides are covered, and then you're going to put it into the Italian breadcrumbs. You're going to have the stove on medium high. Add a little bit of oil, olive oil, avocado oil, whatever you want, and then cook the chicken for about a minute per side. It's just enough to get it nice and crispy, and then we're gonna transfer it into the oven. You're gonna set your oven for 350 degrees and cook the chicken for another 20 minutes or so. It's really gonna depend on your oven. For me, it took 20 minutes. And while the chicken is cooking, I decided to make it with some steamed asparagus and also mashed potatoes. But you can serve this with whatever you want. Once you have everything cooking, it's time to make the sauce. Whatever you do, if you decide to try this dish, do not skip out on the sauce. The sauce is magical and it's what makes this dish. I got the recipe off of All Recipe a long time ago. As always, I will leave all the measurements down in the info box so you can follow along with the recipe. You're gonna put the stove on medium high, and you're gonna leave the butter on the stove for about 30 seconds. You're gonna add some white wine. If you don't like cooking with wine, you can substitute white wine for chicken stock. And then you're gonna let that simmer for about 30 minutes with the lid on. While that's simmering, you're gonna take about half a cup of whipping cream and then about a tablespoon of cornstarch. What I would suggest doing is taking a little bit of that whipping cream into a smaller container and then mixing that tablespoon of cornstarch into that little bit of cream and just making sure it dissolves all the way. That way it doesn't get lumpy. And then you take that mixture and pour it into the half a cup of mixture that you need. Then you're going to slowly whisk that into the pan that has your butter and wine. You're gonna turn your stove down to about medium low and just let it simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes or until the sauce gets nice and thick. So after everything's done cooking, I can just set it aside and start getting ready. Don't forget to put whatever you're having to drink either in the freezer or the fridge so it gets nice and chilled. Just because we're having a date night at home doesn't mean I don't want to get dolled up. So I went and did my makeup. I used my Giorgio Armani foundation, and then I went in with some concealer and highlighted. I did a look very similar to my Valentine's Day makeup tutorial, so I'll leave that video linked down below if you want to check it out. I just went a little bit easier on the eyes just because I had food on the stove and I didn't want to take too long. And then I went in with this hourglass highlight. I will leave the name of all the makeup that I used also listed down in the info box. I'm trying out a new eyeliner. It's the Kat Von D tattoo liner that you guys recommended, and so far I really, really like it. And then I set everything with this new Makeup Forever misting spray, which is pretty good so far. Ready for the evening to start, I go ahead and plate everything. So I just added the mashed potatoes with a little bit of that sauce and then the asparagus. And whatever you do, don't forget to take the toothpicks out. It never fails. Every single time I make this dish, I forget to take them out. And you can serve the chicken whole, or you can slice it up like this and then drizzle it with a little bit of that delicious sauce. It's really up to you. And then I just start setting everything up in our living room. I have my candles going, I have the cushions on the floor so that we don't have to sit directly on the rug, and then I brought out the bubbles with some champagne glasses and also a nice pretty rose. And then I brought out the dessert so we don't have to get up once we're done with dinner. And then I also brought out the dishes, and everything is perfectly set up, and I just think this is such a fun thing to do in your living room at home instead of going out and fighting the crowd. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys next time. Mwah.